the Quinn Marr Show.
My next guest is someone who was there before YouTube even knew what it was doing. If you watch kids react, you didn't just recognize her, she was the show. She was so OG that she was literally the thumbnail for the very first React video ever. She spent nearly half a decade on Kids React, becoming one of the most recognizable faces of early YouTube. And somehow, while doing that, she was also a kid journalist and film critic, interviewing actual Hollywood heavyweights like Adam Sandler, Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Aniston, and more. You know, normal kid stuff. From growing up in front of millions online to interviewing A-listers before most of us had our braces off, her story is a wild snapshot of early internet history and childhood fame done very differently. It is my pleasure to welcome to the Quinn Marr Show, Morgan Bertsch. Morgan, how is it going?
Hello. That was a wonderful. I'm a little starstruck. But thank you. Hi, everyone. Lovely to see all of you and meet all of you. And wow, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right before we just started recording, I was just saying like how excited I am to have you on here, and that's truly a fact. So, I want to go back to like literally the beginning of your life, and you and I spoke about this briefly the other day, but give me a little synopsis of you growing up, where you grew up, things you like to do, all that stuff.
So, like I told you, I grew up in Colorado. Right now I am in Colorado again. We have a house here, and we never gave up the house. That's how I was able to do so much back and forth. We got a hotel in Colorado, or California. I know 2 C's. It's like, But, so what happened is I was always that kid that would go ahead and be like, I would just go up to random strangers and be like, oh my goodness, hi. And they'd be like, your child's adorable. And I would get random ice cream and stuff. And so my mom was like, she's either going to be a politician, which I am definitely not. Politics are gross. And she was like, actress, or she's going to be a supervillain. We went with the acting route. It seemed the most easy to do. And what happened is I did a competition in Florida called AMTC. And after that, it was just super easy. So what happened is we went to California. We got a hotel, stayed in the hotel for like about 5-6 years. And then every like winter we would come back to Colorado, celebrate the holidays with my family and stuff. And after that, we finally got an apartment, lived in the apartment. The hotel was in Van Nuys. We just moved over to like right underneath Burbank, which is in North Hollywood. And I stayed there up until the age of 13. Sadly, what happened is like when I was 8, my dad, he became a drug addict. He was addicted to pot and marijuana and dabbing and like everything underneath the sun. So we just, when I was 13, he ran off to Colorado again and said he couldn't do it anymore. And after that, I think COVID hit like not too long after. And we just moved back here, but kept the apartment out there in case anything happened. And we just did back and forth like constantly, which is probably why nobody can find out where I'm from because it's so hectic.
Yeah, and that was the thing, and that's how the whole thing started with you telling me that yesterday, was because like that's normally how I start, is like, where did my guest grow up? And yeah, for some reason, I mean, I guess it makes sense now, like that doesn't exist on the internet, which is kind of wild because I feel like their internet knows everything about everybody. So that was like, and because you would have thought maybe it would say like Colorado and California or Colorado and Florida, like, you know what I mean? So that was a bit surprising, but I wanted to quickly get into Colorado actually, because you probably weren't there very long. Because like when you started Kids React, you were 5. So were you only in Colorado for a couple years?
So I was in Colorado up until the age of like 5.5.
Okay.
And then what happened is once I was 14, we stayed more time out here. And then my mom passed away last year on Mother's Day, and now I'm just here full time. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to be out there anymore, and I've been knocked down. Like, COVID happened. I tried getting back out there for college, and I did my final year of high school out there, and I tried doing the acting thing, got knocked down again. I was going to do it, and we were going to move back out there, because I told you we never got rid of the apartment. So when I say move, we were just going to go back out to the apartment. And what happened is she passed away, and I was just like, that's it. I got knocked down the stairs 3 times, so it was like, it's time to switch, and now I'm doing nursing.
I mean, hey, for the public, I think nursing is obviously way better because you're helping people. So I think that's awesome. So you decided nursing after your mom passed away?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That's I do like that is commendable, whatever the word is. I think that's awesome that you went into and are going into a field like that. I feel like we can never have enough people helping. So just as a person that's not doing anything like that, I do appreciate you doing something like that. What I normally like to do is kind of figure out how we got to where we are right now with the person I'm talking to. So, watching the kids react videos, I can instantly tell you were an outgoing kid. Obviously, you were by the story you just told about you going up to Six Flags, you talking to strangers. Now, were you always like the outgoing kid in school? Like, were you getting in trouble? Were you into like the entertainment right away and performing because of going to that competition in Florida? Like, it was just kind of instilled in you?
So yeah, it was definitely instilled in me, but I didn't do school. I know that sounds really weird, but I was homeschooled. They had like K-12 and CAVA and stuff, so because I was constantly auditioning and running around and doing so much stuff, because of not only was I auditioning and trying to do acting, but I was doing Kids React. That's my dog, sorry. I was also going ahead and constantly just on the go. So there was no time to like literally sit down in the classroom and be with other people and stuff. We tried doing school once in 6th grade, but what happened is I had epilepsy and it was really bad. We didn't know what it was. We thought it was night terrors, and it was during the day, and it was just really bad. So they had to kick me out because every single class, at least once a day, if not more, I was having to be shipped off to the hospital. And that's really when the nursing began to be a thing, because I do want to work at Children's in the neurology unit and help kids who were like me, just because of that.
Right.
And so after 6th grade, we were like, no, we just can't do this anymore. I did go to high school when I was 14 and here in Colorado, because after COVID, Colorado's laws were much different and more chill than California's were.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just were like, throw on a mask and that's it. They were much calmer. Definitely part of the reason we didn't go back to California.
Right.
But we were able to go ahead and do school out here, and I was like, Mom, I really want to do high school and actually try and do something. And so I was able to actually experience some of the school stuff. And I feel like when I joined so late, I was more of a calm kid who didn't understand all the memes and everything. And some people still knew me from Kids React, and it was kind of crazy. So it was a little weird, but otherwise I was just a very outgoing kid. Like, I'd go into the audition room and talk to other kids and stuff. I always had board games and stuff with me, so yeah.
That's awesome. No, I love that. What kind of careers did your parents have growing up? Like, was it anything to do with entertainment, or you kind of started that?
No, nobody in my entire family had careers in entertainment. No one at all. My dad, he's a cook, and before that he worked for Dish Network, so I guess he did, but he was more like the analytical guy.
Right.
And then my mom, she was working at like copy centers, and the only thing that I can think that might have had anything to do with entertainment is she worked for Ford Motor Company, and so she got to like look at all the races and stuff and watch them go.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But once I was born, she didn't work. She just took care of me.
Oh, okay. No, I like that. What do your siblings do career wise?
My sister is actually also in the healthcare industry,
Nice.
but she used to work for WebMD, and now she works for a different company, and they like make sure that they can get accreditation for nurses and doctors and stuff, and that's what their main job is.
Got you. Okay. So now obviously I first saw you in the first ever Kids React, but before we get to that, like, so between that competition in Florida and Kids React, can you fill in that, it's gonna be a small one, but that gap in between?
So the competition in Florida was like about a 2-week thing. It was really chaotic. They had like dancing and singing and modeling. Like, there was skits that we had to do for advertisements, and I did a Boy Be Gone skit. It was like my favorite thing ever. It was Boy Be Gone spraying. So if you didn't want any boys, you just sprayed the Peter Pan, and then if you wanted boys, you could spray Prince Charming on them. It was really funny. But in between that time period, it was, I think, like about 2-3 months ish. We went back to Colorado. We got the hotel. Basically, we just packed up our stuff and went. And what happened at the competition is agents and managers would pick you up, and they would actually like tell you where you would want to go and stuff. We had a lot of them for New York and a lot of them for California. Like I told you before, we had a ton of family in California, so that's where we decided to go because it was just easier. It's closer to Colorado. It was just a better bet. And there were tons of managers and agents and stuff that wanted me. We went with a very small division company that had a very few clients because they were starting out, and we didn't know what we were doing. That's the honest answer. We didn't know we should have gone with a big company. We were very new to this and learning and growing. And I will say that's part of the reason I didn't really succeed is because as we were learning and growing, we were also failing.
Right. No, but again though, like you just said, you guys had no clue. It's not like you're coming from a performing background where like your aunts and uncles and grandparents and whatever were in the business before. So I think that's bound to happen.
Yeah.
So I've talked to a few former reactors before, Dylan and Ethan as well, and they both had different stories for how they found the Fine Brothers and the React channel. So for you and your mom, how did you guys find out about Benny and Rafi Fine?
So what I've heard from my mom, because I was really young and I didn't have a ton of, experience in this, and if she was still alive, I would totally have her come in and tell you, because she had way more knowledge on the subject.
Right.
But what I remember from what she has told me is that there's still a casting thing, and I think it's called like casting.com or central casting. And what you can do is if you're like a small time actor, you can go ahead and put like in your resume and everything, and you just pay them something stupid. And this is something for like you guys out there who are learning how to be actors and want to do it. Just put in your name, number, and that information in a resume of some sort, and then you guys can find jobs near you. We were in LA, and we were able to find them, and they were looking for kids who were really young. We put in everything. We went in and did a small like audition and stuff, and that was it. I can't remember. I think it was a very small clip of like a movie that they had us do, and they were like, "Okay, yeah." After that, they had us do like 3 of the same, like the 3 next videos. So every time we filmed, we would do 3 videos at a time. And then after that, we just hit it off running. We thought it was going to be like a very small thing, but it became like a whole network. It was very, very surprising.
When you went to go do the audition, do you remember if it was at their apartment where they were filming the show? Like
no, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah, because I remember, I think it was Ethan or Dylan. One of them had told me that like it wasn't like grungy, but it wasn't the nicest place in the world. And like it was funny because they had like their little green room in like their living room, and then I guess one of the bedrooms was the studio.
Yeah, no, it totally was. And they also had like the puppet show that they were doing.
Yes.
And that puppet show was in like a whole other room, and it was like very small. They had like very little space because they were doing so much stuff.
Right. And it's funny because now you can't. I watched their stuff obviously like back then, like in 2010 I was watching kids react, and they still had their older stuff on their channel, so I was able to watch it back then. But like if you go on their channel now and you start with oldest, they have a lost parody video, and then kids react, the first one with you. Like they deleted or whatever, privated everything else, probably for good reason, because a lot of this stuff, and we'll get into it later, was pretty controversial, with the blackface, with like pedophilia type stuff. There was a lot that came to light later on. But as a 5-year-old, actually before we get into that, so October 2010, the Fine Bros released a video called Kids React to Viral Videos: Double Rainbow, Obama Fail, Twin Rabbits, and Snickers Halloween. Now, obviously it's what the title suggests. It's kids reacting to videos. And like I said in the intro, you are literally the thumbnail. You're the third kid shown in the video. So later on when you start doing this, and first thing you said is, "This is not funny." The first line you ever say in the kids react world is you look at Benny or Rafi, whoever was behind the camera, and you were dead serious. That was the best part. You're like, "This is not funny." And so obviously, like, being young, it seemed like it was obviously hard for them to rein you in. I was watching the extra videos of you from.
Oh no, yeah, it was. It was very. I just wanted to play. I
just wanted to play. Which
I had like such an attraction to Benny, and I was like, I really like this guy. Like, he's really fun and chill and everything. And I don't know. I think I thought of him like a brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just was like, these are my friends, and I'm gonna play, and then I'm gonna watch videos, and then I'm gonna play some more and watch videos.
The main thing was playing, and all they wanted you to do, obviously, was watch the videos and get your reaction. So yeah, you do those 3 videos, because it seemed like the first season was 3 videos or something like that, or 4 of them, and clearly you can tell that 3 out of the 4 of them was the same day, because you and the other kids, like Leah and Dylan, you guys are all wearing the same clothes in the 3 videos. So you do that chunk of videos, then what? Do you and your mom just like think it was done, you're not going to hear back from them, or did they kind of keep you and guys in the loop of saying like, no, we want more?
No, they would keep us in a loop of like, we want more and stuff. Eventually, as the company got older, we did the Nickelodeon series. So what happened is my mom was the one who had the idea that we should go ahead and separate the videos, and we should wear different outfits and stuff. So we started bringing like 3 and 4 pairs of outfits and stuff, so it looked like it wasn't all the same day. And the boys were like, why are we going to do that? And we were like, do you want us to like do this? And they were like, no, you're right. That looks actually better. So we started doing that, to bring our own clothes and like actually bringing quick hair changes and all that jazz. And eventually they didn't pay us. First, they didn't pay. It was entirely free. That's how it was so easy to audition everything. Eventually, I think like maybe a year and a half or so after doing it, maybe longer, they actually started giving us some like cheap change. I think it was like $30 or something to go ahead and do the videos. And I will say one thing. As much as I love this being part of my career, it was a really bad treatment. Like, we won Emmys and stuff, and they didn't give us any Emmys or anything, you know what I mean? Like, they just didn't share. I feel like they really, really used their actors.
That, I could totally see that. I have spoken to a few other former reactors that I wanted to get on as well, and I've had a couple of them, as of literally the other day, tell me they would love to, like, they appreciate what I'm doing and everything, but it was such a terrible time that they don't really want to go back and talk about it. So you saying that makes a lot of sense. And that's crazy. At least a year and a half until they started paying you guys, huh?
I think it might have been longer. I think it was actually longer. Like, it took them a very long time to even pay us. And after they started paying us, they made contracts and everything. And the craziest thing I was doing my own acting, and I was doing the kids first. They didn't want me doing that, and they wanted to own me. They literally wrote in the contract we couldn't do anything else, and we were their property.
What?
Yeah. That is one of the reasons I quit the show, because their latest contract when I was still around was that I could not do their show unless I quit interviewing people. Sorry, I wanted to be a reporter. That was like actually my end goal. And they really didn't want me doing any acting or anything. And I was their property, and they could own me all time, and that they would have to say what was okay for me to actually do what I could do, and basically I wouldn't be able to do any of that. So there would have been no Jennifer Aniston. There would have been no, and like, I'm sorry, but even being a reactor is not nearly as much as the experience of being able to interview Justin Timberlake.
No, not at all. So did you sign that contract, the one that stated all that?
No. After that, I think it was a very bad fight. It was a really terrible issue, and after that we basically just said we're done, like beep off.
Yeah, seriously. Wow, damn. And that's the thing too, and that's weird because like a lot of, maybe not a lot, but like the main one I think of that like branched out from React and was like really doing like big YouTube channel stuff and like movies was Leah Marie Johnson. And that's weird that they didn't do that to her, because she was still on the channel and doing all these other things. Maybe she grew too big that they felt like they couldn't do that with her. I don't know. Like, I find that kind of odd, don't you?
So this is another thing, and the boys actually had an inside bet. Ralphie put a bet of who was going to be like bigger, and then Benny put a bet. I think it's not a surprise that Benny loved me the most, and Benny betted on me, and then Ralphie betted on Leah. Their bet was who was going to become a star and a big shot first, and I can't remember what the amount was or what their terms were, but they did. They bet some amount of money and something of who was going to become a big shot first. I know they also did it with the boys. I just can't remember what boys they betted on. I just remember that the girls, because I was one of the girls.
Right. I mean, and it makes, I mean, the bet itself is weird, but it makes sense, the two they're talking about, because again, it was like the girls, it was you and Leah were like the stars, like you being funny and everything, and like just saying whatever you wanted whenever you wanted, and just had that, like, again, kid energy. And something about Leah, like, I remember being a kid, because I think she's a year younger than me. I remember watching the videos and like having a crush on her. Like, I was like, oh, like this girl, or whatever, right? So like I could see why they felt that you two were going to be the stars. That's wild that there was legitimately a bet. And how did you find out about that?
So my dad was very much into the show. He was kind of obsessive about it. And when he came into town, he would like sneak around and like hear stuff. And I think one of the parents heard about this somehow, and it like traveled around. And I remember my dad heard about it like through a post form or something. And I've heard that also from my mom. My mom very much knew about it as well. But yeah, no, it was kind of not a surprise. I remember like everybody who was involved with Kids React kind of knew about that and said nothing. And that was kind of a thing. We all kind of knew what was going on and said nothing. And that was a huge problem.
One thing I really like, I mean, I've thought they're basically terrible people for a long time now, but like the more and more things I learn or watch or hear from my guests, the more I learn that they really were pieces of crap, those two. Like,
oh no, yeah.
Like, I think it is, like, they were great, they were good creatives and terrible businessmen, and apparently terrible people as well.
Yeah.
That's wild. Wow. So you're doing Kids React, and then you get to do like the Kids First journalism, where you're reviewing movies. You were literally a film critic. You're interviewing these big shots. So like, how fun was that? And like, how did that whole process go to be able to go see Hotel Transylvania and talk to Selena Gomez and Adam Sandler or Jennifer Aniston or McConaughey? Like, what was that whole process like? Again, I know you're young, but like, I'm sure you have a couple highlights there.
So I did Kids React for a very long time. Kids First, my goodness. I know we just talked about this, how kids. But I did Kids First for a very long time, even longer than the Fine Brothers. And I actually have some very fond memories of it. We were able to actually go ahead and take that one over to Colorado whenever we transferred, because they actually have some journalists and stuff here, and that was absolutely amazing. I think that it was really fun, and I think it's so much fun because we actually got to see movies for free, and even though we weren't paid, the payment was actually being able to do all the fun experiments and actually being able to do so much fun stuff. One of the best things that I ever did with them, and was like totally amazing, is I got to go to Legoland and interview Jackie Chan and everybody from the new Ninjago movie. So Seth Meyers and everything, and they were just so awesome. They even have, the little Lego sets that they come out with?
Yeah.
So what happened is Seth Meyers, his like PR person, came in. He was like, "Thank you so much for interviewing my client. You are so cute. You did an amazing job. Here's a whole Lego set." I was like, "I'm
That
obsessed
could have
with
been $1
Lego.
million when you're that
Thank
age
you
too.
so much."
Yeah.
Oh no, it's still $1 million to me. I love Lego. I'm a total Lego nerd.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And it's funny because like some kids, I know you're homeschooled, but some kids find it hard to like balance school and soccer practice. And you're out here with homeschooling, but also going to movie premieres. Would they like pay for your guys like travel too?
Well, that one was the one in California, and so I was able to I didn't have to fly or do anything, you know what I mean? But, no, they didn't pay for our gas or anything like that. That was the really bad part of doing that. Because we had, like, they never really took us, like, any farther than maybe 100 miles to 200 miles for the Legoland. But yeah, we asked Randy for payments for gas and stuff sometimes, and the answer was just no, because you're interviewing celebrities, you know what I mean? And I know that the boys for Kids React they were like, "We're giving you cheap change, go away."
And that's the thing too. Like, I mean, obviously I was like a consumer of YouTube back in like the early days of YouTube, but like I don't really know about like how like monetization worked back then, because obviously it's like you hit a certain threshold of watch time hours and subscribers, you start getting monetized per 1,000 views. Now they were probably making some good money, both Kids First and Kids React, and kind of taking advantage of everybody. That's what it sounds like. At least definitely for Kids React. I don't know about Kids First.
Kids First definitely was. So what happened is Randy Levy, who's actually the owner of the company, I don't know if she still is anymore. I know she's really old. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just know she is.
Hey, just a fact.
Yeah. But back like in 2013-ish, what happened is she wanted to quit and give the company. She wanted somebody to buy it from her, and she asked the parents because she was like, "I know you guys know how this company works. I'm even willing to teach you guys, and I trust you guys with this company." And one of the first people that she went to was my mom. She went to my mom, Kiefer's mom, and like 3 or 4 other parents and asked them. And my mom and I did a dumb decision, and we said no. We should have said yes. Later on, like 4 or 5 years later, we found out because my mom actually convinced her to keep it. My mom and like 3 of the other parents told her that they would keep it and that she was a really good owner, and really told her to like keep the company and that she was amazing with the kids and everything. We should have said yes because we found out those years later that she was making like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh.
And yeah, and she wasn't giving a dime to the kids.
That's crazy. So then, and your mom probably would have changed how all that worked, having firsthand experience of you, knowing what it's like to be a kid working for adults and not getting paid.
No, yeah, my mom, like I said, there was a lot of failures, and just because we didn't know how the business worked, that was definitely one of them. Right. And I feel like now that we've known like how much we've gotten ripped off, we would have definitely made a ton of more different decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like, I mean, a lot of companies are slime balls and they take advantage of people. So yeah, so what I've gathered, sorry, just going back to React, is what I've gathered from talking to other reactors is that once Benny and Rafi weren't really involved with like the day-to-day anymore, things changed. Did you notice that?
Yes, and I wasn't there too much for that. I think like right around the time that the contracts changed and everything, like I think I might have been there for maybe 2 years or so. But yeah, like it did. Things changed. They were very much Benny and Ralphie, I will say, even though they weren't the best people, they were still willing to talk to the kids and actually learn about them. And you know, they wanted to know who they were working with. So they had like a little bit of good person in them. And these people were kind of like, "Hi, who are you? Okay, good. Let's do this. Okay, bye. Okay, next."
Yeah, they were very
no personality. Yeah, they weren't very good. And I remember I was still a little young and kind of wanted to play with them and like hang out and chill. Because that I will say that was kind of like some of the only human interaction I got. Because I would go there and I wanted friends and stuff, and I'm so used to doing so much that I was like, hey, I'm here to like play and watch videos, and then I have to go do school, so let's do something. And they were kind of like, what the heck are you doing? Beep off. Like, okay.
That's awful. You're talking about how you just mentioned about like this was kind of your fun time. Did you make friends with other reactors too?
Oh no, I totally did. I can't remember most of their names because it was so long ago, and I made so many new friends since then. But yeah, no, I remember I was friends with Dylan. I remember I was friends with Leah. Um, they had the twins on there who I was friends with.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. So yeah, we talked about that, but yeah, you're on React obviously from 2010 to 2015. They offer you this new contract. You're like, yeah, no, see ya. So you leave and you're continuing with Kids First at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the decision basically, was do we continue with this company or do we continue acting and going with Kids First? And we decided to go with Kids First. I was about 12 or 11 when we left, I think.
Okay.
And once we left, yeah, I did Kids First for like another 3-4 years. Just because once I moved to Colorado, and did the back and forth and stuff, there wasn't as much opportunity out here, and Randy kind of was like, hey guys, I think I need you out in California rather than Colorado. And at the time, COVID was going on, it was just, we couldn't do it, really.
So that's where you ended with Kids First.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about you acting, and like I have a couple credits here from you. So you're in a show called Jedi Camp for 6 episodes. You want to explain the show to me? Because I was watching a few episodes of it earlier, but I'd love for you to give the explanation.
So I had a friend and his sister. Their names are Stuart and Taylor, and they were great. They were part of the show, and we auditioned. And basically, it's like young everybody from Jedi, Star Wars, is on the camp, and we're like learning about each other and talking to each other. And they had like young Jedis going ahead and being background characters and stuff, and learning how to like wield the lightsabers and be Jedis. And I think they had the Sith camp as well that we had to like go up against. I could be wrong, but it was really just like a dumb little short film type thing that was broken up into 6 episodes about like Luke Skywalker learning how to be Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia learning how to be Princess Leia, and it was very much like a satire, I would say, in a way, and it was really fun and silly, and I loved doing it.
And it looked fun too. I mean, it was just a bunch of kids playing at a camp. Like it seemed like it would have been a good time.
No, it was a really good fun time.
The other thing I saw that you're on, and you're on 3 episodes of this, was Jimmy Kimmel Live. What do you remember about that?
Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel Live was awesome. I did 3 skits for them. I've been trying to find them online, and I cannot, sadly. Like, I've been just trying to find them, because recently, I've been trying to find, like, everything I've done for my acting career and just, like, keep it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just have it for, like, my kids and stuff, and I can't find it. But I did one for Chuck E. Cheese, and it was like a joke of kids like using guns and stuff now, because it was like just when they were starting to amp up and get super crazy, and now it's sadly a norm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they had us go ahead and like point fake guns at each other and go and like shoot each other and stuff, and it was really funny. And my mom was so mad. She was like, Morgan, why did you use your gun so crazily? Like, why did you, like, actually point at kids' faces and stuff? And I was like, they told us to do that, Mom. She's like, I wish you didn't. I was like, I don't know what to say.
Hey, I'm just listening to what they tell me.
Yeah, they did another one, though, that was, like, for Mother's Day. That was really funny. And it was like, the best thing you could do is leave your mom alone. And so the mom, like, ties up her kids and locks them in a closet for the day. And my favorite one ever, so they have, like, birthday girls and birthday boys for, like, whenever they do a birthday skit or something. I never got chosen to be the birthday girl ever, and I was always really sad because usually the birthday girl, gets to wear the cute outfit and everything, and it's so much fun. And they normally choose them at random or you audition. It's mostly random though for this type of stuff. And by random, they just chose me, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm the birthday girl! Yeah!" Best skit ever to be the audition for the birthday girl. Kiss, the band Kiss comes and is like awesome. They give me drumsticks, they give me signed pics, it's amazing, and they did best thing ever.
That's unbelievable. Did you get to talk to Jimmy at all on these 3 times you were on?
No, I think because it had to be aired over in
New York?
Yes, thank you. It had to be aired over in New York. He was doing his stuff, and he was actually interviewing the celebrities and everything, so that way it could be aired. And we were filming our stuff, so that way they could edit it and get it out as quick as possible and put it out with him.
I got you. No, I mean that's really cool that you're able to be in those 3 skits. I love that. And then the other thing was We Bought a Zoo. They gave you the title of Popcorn Stand Girl.
So We Bought a Zoo was really fun. It was like literally 2-3 weeks of recording. Sadly, during the editing process, what happened is 90% of what we did got cut out, and they just did like one scene. I'm not even in it because one of the things I did got cut out, and you don't even see me. But what happened is We Bought a Zoo is really fun because I was going, so the little redhead girl who's like his daughter, I was actually the exact same build, shape, and height as her, so I was her stand-in. What happened is everybody loved me on that set. I had like a peacock feather from one of the peacocks. I had like a tooth from like a pig or something on that set. And like they were like, "Oh my goodness, if we knew you existed, we would hire you." I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, no, but you're gonna be the stand-in. Don't worry, honey." And the little redhead girl and I became like best friends, and we're so chill. And I became a background character because they were like, "Well, we didn't expect this to happen, but now we need like 3 weeks of footage," because I can't remember what exactly happened, but they just needed extra footage. So they kept us there, and like the whole thing was awesome. We went every single day, and I just brought puzzles and games and stuff, and so it was literally just a 3-week long play date. And school, because they had the teachers there on set. Anytime they needed me, I would stand in for the little redhead girl, and we would chill, and it was just amazing. I remember that set was just the best experience ever. Everyone was so calm, the food was like, if I could experience like that again, I would.
Yeah. I'm sensing a theme with you too. Like everything that you do, one of the things you love the most was the playing, which totally makes sense as you were a kid. That you definitely didn't take things too serious because you probably know.
No, yeah, you can't take life too serious. You'll drive yourself insane.
Exactly.
You just need to live and have fun.
Exactly, and like I think you probably experienced seeing kids that took themselves too serious at a young age. From like everything you did with the auditions you did, the movies you did, React, Kids First. Like I'm sure there was a lot of kids again that took themselves too serious, and I'm sure you also saw like crazy like momagers where like they were crazy parents, and it seems like your parents thankfully were the opposite of that.
My mom was a little bit of a momager. I feel like anybody who goes into Hollywood is just a little bit of a momager. I feel like it's unavoidable at that point. It doesn't really matter. But no, I did. I saw so I always tell people who are thinking about going into Hollywood or anything like that, I tell them please don't. It's a wonderful experience, but it's so hard. It will drain you eventually, I feel. Really? And now with TikTok and everything, I feel like it's so much easier to do it from home. That you can get an actual career, and you can build yourself up, I feel.
That's fair. I like as a kid and like as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be famous. Like when I was really little, I wanted to be an actor. Later on, I wanted to be a broadcaster. Then I wanted to be a YouTube prankster. Now it's my podcast. But that's a really interesting take from someone who obviously experienced that. Like basically what you're saying, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. And I think part of that is definitely the fact that I was a childhood actor. I would go into the audition room and, like, I would see kids, their parents weren't even there. They had nannies and they thought of them as their mom. And their nannies would be like, honey, if you just get this audition, I promise you'll see your parents. And then I would see parents who would literally be like, if you just get this audition and you at least go into the room, I will get you ice cream after. And, like, I wasn't like that. I would just go into the audition room, and, like, part of the reason I didn't get too many parts, I was actually, sadly, and we did hear this from the audition people, the casting managers, for Lifetime, they said I was always the happy, bubbly kid, and they would bring me in just to get rid of all the sadness. Disney said I was always the happy, bubbly kid that was just enough bubbly that wouldn't be, like, over sickening, and they were just waiting for the right part for me. And then Hallmark said I was happy, bubbly, and wasn't too sickeningly sad that they could see me and talk to me whenever they needed a break.
What? Those are weird notes for, like, those being negatives.
Well, no, yeah, like, eventually, we had been doing it for about 7, 8 years now, and we were like, okay, what's the problem? Why have we never had that big break? Why is nothing working? So my mom and dad finally went into the casting room, and we kind of knew all these casting people really well at this point, and they had so many things where you could, like, meet them and everything, and we were just dumping money to meet them and say hello and stuff. And so finally we saw, like, everybody, and we walked in there and asked them what was going on, and they told us that. And we were like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, Hallmark is a very sad place, and we have very sad people, and Morgan will just ruin the vibe.
For being too happy.
Yeah, and, like, they kind of said that multiple times. And so I was always a very happy, bubbly child, and everybody said I was just too happy. And I'm like, so you would rather have, like, a very sad kid on set? And they were like, basically, because we're going to be filming a very sad scene, and if Morgan's over there laughing and crying, or, you know, laughing and giggling and stuff, she's going to ruin the vibe.
See, and I don't understand that, because you're an actor, so if you wanted to be happy and bubbly and whatever when you're not filming, but then turn it on when you're filming, I don't see an issue. Were you good at doing that as a kid, like to flip if you needed to be serious for anything?
No, I was. I took so many, like, acting notes and acting classes, and went to see so many people that I know how to do it. I'm just like that. The only thing I can't do is I can't cry on camera. That's the only thing I can't do. But
yeah, I mean, that's fair. I don't understand how people can do that. That's wild to me. Damn, that's crazy. Do you remember, like, let's say Disney, for example, like, any specific shows that you would audition for that like are well known?
The best one that I can think of is Dog with the Blog.
Okay.
I auditioned for that one, and I made it to top 3, and it was then between me and Francesca, who's she's actually the one who got the part. Mm-hmm. Francesca and I were really good friends, and what happened is she got that part, and we think the reason she got that part is because Brave was coming up, and so they needed somebody who looked a lot like the princess from Brave.
They're always thinking.
That's the problem with Hollywood, and that's why I tell people, please don't do it, because there's always some underhanded, shady stuff like that. And you can look like I look like that family. You can look like that family. You can be, like, the best actor you can be, but there's going to be something that is just so strange that you don't get the part for, and you can do it for 10, 20 years and never get your big break, and that's the problem. Unless, like, you have millions of dollars that you could just dump into it like a money pit.
Yeah. Wow. You mentioned about, like, how, like, if people were to ask you, like, oh, like, I'm thinking about doing acting, I'm thinking about going into the business, a lot of the time you're saying, like, hey, like, don't do it, like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Let's say 15 years down the line, you have a 5, 6, 7-year-old. All they want to do is be an actor. There's nothing that interests them as much as that. What's that conversation like?
I think I'm okay with it as long as they do it through TikTok or a small platform. I am okay with them trying it and doing it, like, through their school or something like that. And if they can make it that way, that's awesome. I think that the best thing that now is going to happen that can't be replaced by AI because now they're of course saying that that's the next thing. But there's also arguments that within like by 2027, AI is going to eat itself, and hopefully the bubble will burst. So let's hope that happens.
Yeah.
But the thing that I would hope that they could do if they really, really want to do that is do plays. I feel like that can't be replaced. I feel like that's something that they can totally do acting from. You can make good money on it, and it's really something that grows you and helps you do what you love. I have started doing plays at my school because I'm in Metro now, MSU Denver. Woohoo! And I've done some plays with them, and they're actually wonderful, and it helps me still keep my acting career and the thing I love, but I can actually do my nursing and, not be totally depressed, but still actually go in a career path that will help me.
A little bit of Troy Bolton. You're doing your main thing, and then on the side you're doing the entertainment. That's really cool. That's nice that you still get your creative juices and like your acting juices flowing, and you didn't totally throw it to the side and get rid of it. So no, that's awesome to hear that you're still doing that. You're talking about, like,
and
go ahead.
Sorry. I'm actually trying to work on a big project. I know like my socials and some stuff seem like they're pretty dead, but one big project that I really want, especially now because little animation and indie animation is coming back, is I want to work on this project called Safarina's Sorcery, and it's hopefully an indie animation that I can make come true, because this is kind of what I did in my childhood. I like made this whole world up, and now I really want it to come out to the public and make it come and become a reality.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So what are like the steps now, like, to really get it going for you?
For me, I basically have the script written. I'm just trying to write like season 2 and stuff. I have season 1 written. This is going to be, hopefully, if any of you guys know what Hazbin Hotel is, or Digital Circus, or Owl House for any Disney lovers. That's what I'm hoping it can be like. I'm hoping it's going to be as big as those, if not bigger. And I'm trying to write the script right now. I basically have season 1 written. I'm writing season 2. I'm doing my character designs. And then once that is all done, I'm hoping I can make like a comic to just get maybe the ball flowing and see if anybody likes it. I know Glitch, which is the huge people who have done Digital Circus, and like so many other animations. My goodness, there are just so many. I'm hoping maybe I can sell it off to them, and if not, then I will go ahead and do some stuff on YouTube and TikTok and such, and see how it works from there.
That's awesome. What I love about like the good that came out of React is people like you, people like Dylan, people like Ethan that are like, clearly they picked you guys for a reason, because you guys are all massive creators. Dylan's into film. You're clearly still into acting and entertaining. I know Ethan was doing streaming for a bit. Leo was acting, and now she sings. So like, that's a one thing that I think I'm thankful for React, and like I hope you guys are as well. That like clearly they knew who they were choosing when they picked you guys.
Yeah.
That's I really no that's really cool. So a little bit of life after React was 2016. So you're a year out of the React world. The Fine Brothers upload a video stating they're gonna trademark the word React and anything to do with React. If they're taking money from me, a lot of money actually. So you can't make React videos. If you post it on Facebook, you have to get permission from them first. They're making posts about Ellen doing React. It's a whole thing. So obviously this caused an uproar because how can you trademark a reaction? So then they come out with another video trying to explain what they meant. We as a viewers took it wrong. Rafi's rolling his eyes the entire time. It was the worst apology video I've ever seen, because they seemed annoyed in the video, like we're the idiots for thinking that. And yeah, like seeing Rafi rolling his eyes the entire time, just I remember annoying me. But yeah, at this point, you're not in the videos anymore. Did you hear about this going on at the time?
I heard about it. I didn't watch any of the videos or anything. I just heard about it from my dad because I told you he was still obsessed.
Yeah.
He was very much like, oh my goodness, they did this. Their new video is this. Oh my. It's like, dude, stop. We're not involved with them anymore. But he did. He watched their videos for like a good 3 years or so after we quit.
Uh-huh.
And my mom and I were just like, no, we don't want anything to do with them. Like I said, beep them. We don't care.
Yeah.
And so I heard about it. I think I looked it up maybe just to be like, you know what I mean? But I didn't really watch anything or anything about it just because I was like, whatever. I did think it was really funny though. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, how can you? It's like the iPhone. The iPhone tried like patenting the square or something like that. And like, why would you do that? Like, that just sounds dumb.
It's wild because at that time I think they're pulling in like 150 million views a month after this whole trademark catastrophe. I mean, it's still a lot, but their viewership went down so much. They went down to 30 million a month, which obviously that's a massive difference for them. And they lost so many subscribers. They really screwed themselves over thinking they were smarter than everybody, and they acted like they were doing everybody a favor. They're here to save the world. And I also found out that Elders React, they stole that from another channel that had come out with it maybe about 2 months beforehand called Seniors React. Yeah, so they came out with Seniors React. They're doing it for a couple months. The Fine Brothers come with Elders React. They then sue the people that started it with the seniors for stealing their idea because they're React videos, and only Benny and Rafi created it and own it. So yeah, that I think was the beginning of the end for them, because a couple years later, the Black Lives Matters protests were happening. Obviously, the thing with George Floyd happened. And they came out with a video with some of their reactors talking about their experiences with racism. And the Fine Brothers, the Fine Brothers made a statement about how they're obviously against that. They don't stand for that. They don't stand for sexism, etc. Everyone did digging because it's the internet, and that's where they found some of their old videos. The ones with, I can't remember what they named that doll, but the doll that was,
I think it was Molly.
Was it Molly?
Off the top.
It was like a Family Guy-esque with like robot chicken, but it was a kid doll. And that's where like they made like the pedophile jokes. I think it was Rafi was the star of it. And they made like the pedophile jokes, and obviously that's not gonna fly. People find that. Then they find the ones of Benny doing blackface with I think some of the videos where Shane Dawson was in them. So they come out with those are brought to light, and I think that was really the end for Benny and Rafi, because I think it was a couple months later they sold React to whatever studios, and if you go onto their socials, Benny hasn't posted since 2020. I don't know about Rafi, but to me, as a viewer that never knew them personally, they disappeared into thin air. Do you have any idea? I know you've been a part of it or away from it for a while, but do you have any idea what happened to those two?
No, I actually didn't. I think I heard that they sold the channel, but I thought that they were like still like the main owners of it, if that makes sense.
They probably still have a piece in it. I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought that they had like some part of it still.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Back like when I was doing high school and finishing, so 3 years now, 2022, 2023-ish, what happened is I actually saw another Casting Central post saying we need reactors. And I was like, oh, okay, who are these people? And I was like, that's Kids React. Oh, okay. And this was when I was trying to get back into it, and I was like, let me see if I can ask them, what's going on. I put a video in, and they never answered back, and I was like, okay, whatever. I started doing some small digging into it, and I never could really find anything on Benny and Ralphie. You're right. Um, but yeah, it's just weird. Like, I think they kind of disappeared off the face of the earth after that.
Probably for good reason, because I don't think there's a lot of people that are big fans of them, and I'm sure they made some good money after selling React. So if you got money and no one likes you, I would disappear as well. But yeah, and you mentioned to me the other day, so you applied to do the reacting, to be a reactor, and then did they even respond to you?
No.
That's crazy. Wow. And I think that's where it got too corporate, I would think, because like clearly the way you say it, it sounded like it was a family. It felt like a family maybe at the beginning, and it was more personal and stuff. That I think where it's at now, everyone's a number. All they care about is views and likes and comments and subscribers, etc. That like they don't even care. Oh, let's bring back one of the original reactors. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like if they care about that stuff, if anything, that would help them be like, hey, look, Morgan's back type thing. Like it's been 11 years now. So like that would have been smart on their end business wise. But as someone who watched these videos, that would have been amazing to see.
No, yeah, I think for every fan that would have been amazing to see.
And they just said, I mean, nothing. There was just, crickets. Looking back at it now, what do you like? Just like a couple sentences, like think of your time with React, with everything that happened, how it started, how it ended, and everything in between. What would you say about that time?
It was very crazy, but it was also really fun. I would not take it back just because it's definitely a part of who I am. And I wish that they just treated people better. I feel like if they did that, they would have a much better outcome.
I think that was the demise of them, is that I think maybe when money came in and popularity and all that might have went to their head. And I think they thought they were smarter than people, and it sounded like they got greedy. Like they were probably making hand over fist before that whole trademark React thing happened, and then they're like, you know what? We're not getting enough money. Let's try to get more and screw over small creators. And that sucks, because like the way you're talking about it, like when you started, like you felt like you were close to them. Like you loved Benny, you loved playing with him. You guys were drawing on the whiteboard and playing tic-tac-toe. You're doing flips in the room. Like it just seemed like it was a fun time until it wasn't.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth. And actually, speaking of that, did you ever feel that they would try to point you in a specific direction of a kind of answer that they wanted? Or did they let you speak your mind and say whatever you wanted?
I feel like they guided us to do certain things. But, like I know they would tell the parents what videos we were going to watch and ask them if it was okay and stuff. But I feel like, in general, they let us say whatever we wanted and ask us, like, our genuine opinions.
Okay, that's good. No, that's nice to hear, because I have heard other people saying that, like, later on it seemed like they try to push them in a certain direction, and if they didn't really go there, then they probably weren't going to be in that video.
I can see that. I can see how, like, they would edit them out if they didn't say certain things and stuff. But my mom would, like, for the Honey Boo Boo, for example, I know they really did try and, like, get me to be like, is she fat? Is she fat? Is she fat? And I was just told to say that she needs some exercise, but I would still be her friend. And I feel like that was one of the things, like, my mom was very good with making sure I said the right things.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it kind of did bother them a little bit that I was so well trained.
They couldn't like get one up on you.
No.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, that might not have been the case with every kid, because their parents were told not to say anything. And we were all supposed to not say anything, but my mom knew better.
Good. No, that's and
I feel like
that's nice.
I feel like 90% of the time she didn't say anything, and there was maybe like only 5-10 videos she did just in case. But really,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No, and that's good because you see how some kids were taken advantage of, unfortunately, in Hollywood, and really not that long ago, and unfortunately, it may still happen now. What started off as like a fun, like funny videos, and like you guys were just having a good time. They started to go into like serious videos. Like I know they had one about Coney 2012, and they had one about what else? The Osama bin Laden killing. What did you think about them going into serious videos? I don't know how many of those you were in versus the fun ones. Like, do you
so
think
I
they
did
should have
a
shown you guys that kind of stuff?
I did another thing. I can't remember the exact name of it, and I've been trying to remember. But do you know who Kyle and Beck Bennett are?
No.
They are on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and they did skits with kids as well, where we would react to stuff and talk about the news and everything. And it was very serious topics like this. So Benny and Ralphie were more like the fun react videos, and then those guys were more like the serious react videos, and it was like news with kids. When they started doing that stuff, it didn't really bother me just because I was already doing it. And I was like, oh, okay. Meh. I did think it was a little weird that they were kind of going in that direction. Maybe because they saw them and were like, oh, we need to cheat. Who knows at this point?
Exactly. Seal.
But, yeah, so with that, I didn't really care or mind because I'd already been doing it for a while. But, I can see how that is a little strange, because they were doing, like, those snippets that are now coming back, and they're called, like, Brain Rot 2012, where it's like, I'm a muffin, kill me now, and they have, like, yeah, they have, like, those, and they were doing so much fun stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, do you guys want to react to this? And you're like, why are we reacting to this? We're kids.
Yeah, like, do you want to learn about like Amanda Todd, the girl that killed herself? It's like, why is a 10-year-old hearing about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like you're asking for reactions from a 10-year-old. Like, I think they're all gonna say that's sad. Like, I don't I felt like that was unnecessary. Obviously, I didn't really think much into it at the time when I was watching it because I was a kid. But like looking back at now, you're like, yeah, it's a little weird.
No, I'm very much an advocate for kids like need to stay kids. I know like children now, I'm a fan of Has Been Hotel, and I have like a little Has Been Hotel bag that I carry around. And like kids will be like, oh my goodness, it's Lucifer, I love Angel Dust. I'm like, you are 5, what are you doing watching that? Please no.
That's
and
crazy.
people were like, I have like the Jax ears from Digital Circus, and people would be like, it's Jax! I'm like, you're 4, why? Why are you being corrupt?
I feel like kids nowadays just like seem older. Like I've told this story a couple of times, but a couple of months ago I was with my nephew and he's 7, and we were talking about what was it? We were talking about like, oh, do you have his buddies? Like he was telling me his buddies at school, and I was like, oh, do you have like friends that are girls too, like or whatever? And he goes, that's kind of sus, bro. I said, dude, you're 7. Why are you saying that? Like he's a big YouTube kid and like he loves like Minecraft videos or Mr. Beast. I'm like, it's wild, like what they say nowadays. Like I can't believe my 7-year-old nephew called me sus.
My nephew's 3, and I never want him to grow up.
Yeah, I mean, what I've said before is that so like most kids, I feel like when they're younger, they can't wait to grow up. My nephew, for some reason, and it's a good thing, he does not want to grow up. He says he does not want to be an adult. He wants to be a kid forever. I said, keep that attitude, dude, please, because clearly, there's people like me who I'm going to be 30 in a couple months, and I'm doing a show about nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like I yearn for the days of being a kid. I always say no one misses it being a kid more than I do. And I think this is kind of proof, doing something like this, talking to someone that I watched on YouTube 15, 16 years ago. It's kind of, the proof is in the pudding type thing.
Yeah, no, my nephew is like that too. He's only 3. He just turned 3. And he's like, I don't want to wear diapers. I'm a baby. I'm like, good. You keep that.
Stay like that, exactly.
He's literally like that. He's like, no, I don't want to go in the potty. I'm baby. I'm mommy's baby. And he literally says that. I'm like, you go, kid.
Yeah, stay 3 forever. Last 2 things I got for you, Morgan, is also we talked about a lot of negative things with React and Benny and Rafi and everything. What's like one episode for you that you filmed that like just sticks out of in your memory of just a fun
Neon
time?
Cat. Neon Cat.
Do you remember the remix they did that of you too?
Yes.
That's awesome. That was a great episode. That's a good one to pick. And clearly you thought that for a while too.
No, I know it's Neon Cat. There is no question.
I love that. No, amazing. Last question I got for you. I ask every guest this. What's the one thing you miss most about being a kid?
I think I miss my attitude on life. I feel like, so a bit of a story about me is after my dad became a drug addict and everything happened to me, I got very depressed and I committed suicide or attempted suicide 2-3 years ago. And I just really miss that attitude I have, that everything was playtime, everything was really happy. And I don't know, I'm much better now. I'm actually on some meds and I'm calmer now. But I really miss that attitude of life where everything was a game and you didn't have to take things as seriously. And I feel like I've really changed a lot and grown up a lot. And that's not a bad thing, but once you change your attitude on life, you kind of wish that you had that back.
Absolutely. And it's nice to hear that you're doing better. What I hear people say is that like none of us are adults. No one is ever an adult. We're all just kids that just got bigger. And that's one thing that I don't think people should ever lose. Like I still play video games. I do a show about me being a kid. I watch Hannah Montana and Sweet Life on Disney Plus with my wife. Like it's like you got to keep those things alive from what you enjoyed as a kid. Because if not, I mean, I just don't think life's as enjoyable. Because like you enjoyed those things as a kid for a reason. Am I saying go and skip rope and draw chalk on the road by yourself? Probably not. I think you would look a little odd, but to each their own. But I think keeping those little things alive, I think makes life that much more enjoyable. I don't know. That might sound silly, but that's just how I look at it.
No, I get that.
But no, that was I love that answer. I appreciate that answer. And Morgan, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here. I'm so happy I was able to chat with you, the OG of the OGs of YouTube. So this was amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll have to do it again. And enjoy being going to school for being a nurse. Again, that's amazing. Keep doing the plays. Keep working on the things you're working on with the comics and everything. I think that's a really good idea. And honestly, what I think, this would be really cool, is you should I know we talked about this the other day, and you don't really have much of the information of like all the old reactors. Go find them, talk to them, collab with them, because I think that would be a really cool idea. And I think you all have really good ideas. So I think something like that could be really cool. Because I don't want that React portion to die where you guys are all separate and like you guys were all friends for a reason at one point, and I think that could be really cool. So that's what I got for you. Again, thank you so much, Morgan. It's been awesome.
All right, thank you. When is the video going to come out?
So what day is today? Today is Friday. It will be out Tuesday.
All right, thank you.
Quick turnaround here at the Quinn Marr Show. I'll talk to you later, Morgan.
All right, bye.
And that was the Quinn Marr Show.